Yo, howdy. What's going on, guys? So, it's out. It's been some days now. And if you haven't heard already, well, I don't even know what to tell you. Get in line. Get on. Come on. Are you living under a rock? Anyways, so there's been a lot of opinions going around about Cyberpunk 2077. And most of those opinions range from it sucks, it's the best game ever, it's B rate, my expectations were too high, and it's a diamond in the rough. I've heard many different things from different people, and I'm not surprised by any of it, especially given the hype that was generated behind this game over all the years we've been anticipating its release. I can't remember the first time I had seen an advertisement for Cyberpunk. I think it was in a Game Informer magazine. I think. And I could swear it was all the way back to like 2015. Or around the time the ps4 was being released. I think it was afterwards. I'm pretty sure it was one of those things where everybody was like, oh boy, look at this. It's showcasing the capabilities of the next generation. For hardware, that is. And I remember a lot of speculation about what could be done and how that stacked up against games that were current of the time. And even some that weren't so current but were from software developers who had great renown, kind of like Valve. And I speak of them mostly because we're talking about Cyberpunk, and Half-Life is pretty similar in a lot of respects as far as like a post-apocalyptic landscape. Though I wouldn't describe Cyberpunk as such, it kind of falls in that category. Like a futuristic Mad Max style sandbox thriller kind of game. It's really hard to describe it given the storyline, and I don't want to spoil it. All I can say is if you think it's just a sci-fi thriller, it's not. If you think it's scary in any kind of way, it's not. It's not meant to be that. Given that you could see the violence going on and whatnot, it's not like that. Is it like Grand Theft Auto? In some ways, yes. I almost slipped up and said Gran Turismo, and mostly because I'm looking at this video on the side where they're driving, and it makes me think of how some of these cars and motorcycles that you can get, some of them are kind of realistic in their appearance, and they've worked a lot about the mechanics and all the things that you could do in the game, and there's a lot of similarities that I see from game to game to this one as well. But these days, I don't really think that matters as much. Not to say that plagiarism doesn't matter, it's to say that we've gotten so entrenched in these different kinds of games that do basically everything, it's kind of hard to say that any game really owns any of it anymore. Maybe like 2 generations ago when this stuff was groundbreaking, then I'd say something like, yeah, totally. But okay, so I'm rambling on. The main point here is that we got Cyberpunk, we've got it on PS4 here, at least that's what I'm playing it on, and there's been some issues. Some pretty big issues that I would call game breaking, but nothing that stopped it for me playing it at least. And that's mostly because I'm used to Warframe. Warframe's got its bugs, its glitches, and stuff like that. Though I'd have to say that Cyberpunk really, it was interesting. Because some of it was just visual, nothing major. Some of it was definitely bad, like the whole PS4 crashing on me. Now, they did release an update, version 1.04, and that was, at least for me, that was just the other night. There have been some improvements, but I still find myself crashing, and it's always random. I can't place my finger on it quite, but it seems to be when I'm like going like pedal to the metal, doing all sorts of stuff. But then there's been times where it's just between cities loading, or I'm about to start a quest, or I literally just got done loading up the mission and I go through a door and it crashes on me. So it's really hard to say what the cause is, at least for PS4 and definitely for me. But outside of that, there hasn't been a whole lot of problems. Some things here and there, mostly just like quality of life kind of stuff, but nothing where I'd say, well, these guys really didn't put together a good game at all. They didn't even try. No, if anything, what I'm saying is I can totally understand why they were pushing it back, and I wish they would have waited even more. But given that they didn't and we have what we have, it's still a pretty damn good game in respects of what they were aiming for. However, I don't think that this is next gen worthy. So to the people who are saying things like it's better for PS5, I'm kind of shaking my head at that. Mostly because it's not next gen level capabilities as far as what you do within the game. It's all stuff that we've been dying to do for a long time, and it's just a little bit more expansive than what we're used to in some respects, but not so much that it's not like Grand Theft Auto. And I say that with a heavy heart because a lot of people are like, yeah, this ain't no different. It's just a mod to it. And I'm like, nah, I wouldn't call it that, because I would rather play this than Grand Theft Auto in a lot of respects. So I'm not a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, so I don't have a lot of room to talk as far as like what the big differences are. But I do have enough mind to say I totally understand where people are coming from in the negative. And that would probably be the most accurate of the negative that I have heard so far. But it also made me laugh the most because I was like, yeah, I was certainly thinking that. Like, is this just like a Cyberpunk version of Grand Theft Auto? And they just renamed it like that? It's like, nah. Given when they were trying to announce it, which probably wasn't the best time, they should have waited a few years, just like the release. They probably should have waited like a year longer, though I know for a lot of people, they're like, dude, that is just too long. But really, like, I don't think that it's a bad game at all. Now, this is live gameplay, obviously, if you can't tell by that. I mean, the video that you're watching isn't live, but what I'm doing is live for the video. And I've done many recordings too. Now, the big thing is that nothing fancy here. You know, it's just the PS4, not even a Pro version, just the PS4 regular. You know, everybody complaining about frame rates and stuff like that. I'd say this is about what I had experienced upon launch. I didn't do anything crazy. I'm in Colorado. I didn't change my time zone or anything. I just waited until the normal release in case anything weird was going on, because, you know, people are already talking about stuff in general, and this was before the official launch. You know, like, just stuff, whether it's rumor or not, just stuff. But here I am out here. I've done quite a bit. You know, when I say I've done quite a bit, now she ain't equipped with much, but hear me out. Here's one aspect of it, right? So I have gotten some stuff going, right? Check out my cyber deck. Okay, not it. That is it. What am I thinking? Oh my, what am I thinking? Am I thinking my stats? I don't know. It doesn't matter as much. Unless I can get to it. There it is. I forgot. Because I was thinking about the complaints. My apologies. But yes, so I haven't been just sitting around. I don't really think street cred matters as much as the level, but combining the two, okay, I've been playing. I don't know if the hours really matter much, but I've been playing. I've been going through the story. I've been collecting stuff, running around a lot, driving around a lot, finding a lot of stuff all over the place. Random things, fun things, things that matter for the mission, things that come to matter. I found secrets before they were revealed to me. Killed people that I shouldn't have, killed people that I should have before I even knew I should have, did things that were important before it even mattered, you know, stuff like that. So it does have like this sandbox feeling. There was that feeling of constraint at the beginning because it driving the story plots and whatnot. But really, no, I wouldn't say that the resolution is bad. I can't capture this at any better resolution because the PS4 doesn't put out any better resolution, and that's okay. Frame rates, I'd say it's kind of hard to say what is going to come through the video as opposed to what I'm seeing, but things are pretty smooth. And when they're not smooth, it's not frame rates that I suffer with. It's more or less like everybody doing a bunch of stuff. I can't tell what's going on. My controls are not. There's certain issues. Like, okay, say I'm running up on some guy. I kill him. Cool, whatever. He's down. I'm trying to reload. But instead, I'm picking up stuff. Not cool. Or I'm trying to switch up weapons. And again, I'm whipping things directly onto me when I'm trying to switch to something else because I don't want to wait to reload. So I grab something else, but instead I'm picking up a bunch of stuff that I don't even want. So, you know, quality of life kind of detail right there. That's not something that's game breaking by a long shot. And I have found that just by thinking a little bit ahead of yourself, all those little quality of life things become secondary and you start to use your instincts a lot stronger. So I can't argue with that one. That's kind of like every game has its little things that you kind of got to get used to. Play with the stupidness of it, and then you start to find it's really not stupid when compared to all the other things that the game does. But I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking around just trying to show that some of the bigger gripes that people are talking about for the PS4 is not consistent. Not because they're not having it, I've seen it, but I don't know what it is. Like, is it because of individual PS4s or what? Kind of like me crashing a bunch. You know, that's all I can say. But otherwise, it's beautifully detailed. Everything is, the information here is dense. It is really dense. Like, with the things that would repeat itself, like these rails right here, not a good judge of it. The cars, I think that everything looks the same, but when you're running around the city, every building is different. All the nooks and crannies just different. All sorts of stuff to find everywhere. The bodies of people that you've killed from many missions ago across town. You go back, they're still there. Pretty much in the same spot you killed them. Pretty much the same sprites, model sprites. These guys will change, you know, different models, different sprites. I can't remember which one is applicable or correct here, but you know, all the details going on, the way the smoke works. There's just a lot of stuff that you can tell they put a lot of emphasis on. And who knows, it could be as simple as it's a block party with a bunch of gangsters. You know, it could be as simple as like, I can just walk up on these fools and start messing around. Yay, blow up their car. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then run away. Oh, they almost got me. Oh, they're trying to. Gotta warn the... Oh, yeah. Get up there. Come on. Yes. So you can do stuff. Oh, no, there's a cop.
Another motherfucker trying to kill me.
Oh, well, you know, I'm sorry, but you were right there. I don't want to kill anybody. I was just trying to demonstrate that I could mess with the gangsters. But I guess since they didn't have warrants out for them, that was a bad move for me. Okay, come on, get up on there. Now, otherwise, I'm pretty used to like the way that things work on Warframe as far as like how to parkour, running around. Things are real fast on there sometimes, you know, like to the point where I can't keep up with myself. Friction, things like that. But like to say that this game is broken, I wouldn't go that far. I would go so far as to say, this is why we should have waited, guys. To everybody who was impatient about this, I hate you. You know, because it's the reason why they start thinking that for marketing purposes, they got to pull the trigger. Otherwise, they're going to lose everybody. You know, and then everything that they invested in is basically like lost. And it's like, oh, well, they released the game, but now nobody's going to play it because it's not at the right time on the right console with, you know, just all these factors. So I kind of feel for them, but like at the same time, I don't feel for them. I understand the business as far as that's concerned. What I just said, I mean. You know, timing is everything, you gotta admit. And this is definitely one of those things where if it was released in the early development of the game, oh boy, wow, I can't even imagine what kind of problems they've been working out, given all the things that you can do. And I've only just touched not even the tip of the iceberg there. But I thought I would give a little video talking about this stuff, mostly because I've seen a lot of complaints and then a lot of people basically glorifying the game. It's got its ups and downs. It's a good game. It's definitely on a B rate right now for me as far as what I think about it. But I would definitely buy it. I would definitely wait to buy it to see if like things get patched up and whatnot. And if they don't, which I would think is a real big shame, then don't buy it. You know, by all means. It might be one of those things that this is the kind of thing you can't tolerate. It's not perfect, not by a long shot, but I haven't played a game ever that is perfect. Ever. I've been playing video games since Atari, since I was 4 years old. I got my first video game system when I was 5 years old in 1990. Alright, so yeah, I've been dealing with glitches and weird stuff for a long time. It kind of like, you know, it's in the back of my head. Some of it will anger me, but that depends. Like, if it ruins my skill and my use of my skill, then yeah, I start to get mad. If it ruins the way that the story runs where I can't understand it, yeah, I'm gonna get mad. But in this case, I'd say the biggest thing going for this game is that when I do have a crash, I don't get auto-loaded into a place that's so far back that I'm like, oh my god. And it's definitely not in a broken state. It's usually pretty accurate to where I was, but usually not right on the money. And that's okay, I never expected it to be. So that's my take on it. What do you guys think in general? What do you guys think in general? How does this game really stack up to you? Is it living up to the hype? You know, when you look around at just what I'm showing, is that good enough? Have you looked at any other videos to see what's going on, streams and whatnot? I'm trying not to show too much just because it's fair to say when you start moving faster and things are going all over the place, it changes. But maybe this is just it. Like, most of the stuff we saw was, you know, pretty calm. And even right now, like, things are trying to load up assets and whatnot now that I'm trying to cross streets and stuff, getting away from big buildings. But it's usually not too stuttery as far as, like, anything that I see. And I think that's a good thing. And what do you think? Was the wait worth it? And if you have seen anything else you want to play, I'll be getting back up onto my other stuff. I've been junky about this quite a bit since the release, but my expectations were pretty so-so. I figured they can't live up to everything, but how good of a job can I see that they've done? And I'm quite impressed with the graphics, without a doubt, in this city, especially my drive-bys and stuff that I've been doing to people. Oh yeah, very impressed. Alright, well, that's all for me for right now. I've been taking a lot of shots and videos and whatnot, so I'll be putting some of that stuff up. Come and check it out when you get a chance. Otherwise, see you around.